Random House Audio presents The Canary List by Sigmund Brouwer. Read for you by Mike Chamberlain. As noted in the afterword, some of the foundational premises of this novel are not merely speculative. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. There are two equal and opposite errors into which our race can fall about the devils. One is to disbelieve in their existence. The other is to believe and to feel an excessive and unhealthy interest in them. They themselves are equally pleased by both errors, and hail a materialist or a magician with the same delight. C.S. Lewis. Prologue. She knew that they hurt the boy, because he told her, always, the mornings after he was returned. She was the only one the boy trusted. She was 5 and he was 4. Each time he was returned to the house, it seemed he had grown smaller. Black walls and candles, he said. Hoods and robes, like the scary people in Scooby-Doo cartoons, except it wasn't a cartoon. He couldn't describe what the people in hoods and robes did to him because he would start shaking and sobbing as he made the attempt. He told her it must be something they ate that made them so mean to him. Hales. She didn't know what hales were, and neither did he. But he told her about 2 pieces of wood crossed, and how they trampled it and kept repeating about the hales they had ate in. But he never knew what they ate the hales in, because they never finished explaining. They just said, hales ate in, and left it at that. On the last night she saw the boy, she was in his bedroom at the foster home. They heard the car drive up and looked out the window and saw it was them again. She had his toy bow and arrow set, and she vowed to the boy that she wouldn't let them take him again. She was ready when the man in the mask came into the bedroom. She aimed the arrow at the eyes of the tall man, and the rubber suction cup of the toy arrow hit him squarely in his left eye. He cursed and lifted the mask and rubbed his eye before he realized that she was the one who had fired the arrow, not the boy. He dropped the mask into place, and with a snort of rage, stepped forward and swept her away with a blow across her face. "I am the prince," he said, as she struggled to her knees. He moved to stand over her. "Bow to me." His face. She had seen it before. He was someone she saw at church on Sundays. In a robe at the front, handing out bread to people as they bowed down in front of him. She did not want to bow. Instead, she rose in defiance and spit on his leg. He lashed out again, hitting her across the cheek. She tried to scream, but the pain was too great. Another man in another mask stepped into the bedroom and pulled him away. Then they took the boy. She never saw the boy again. He went to live at another house, the people at the house said. But the man with the mask came back. He wore the mask while he hurt her again, in horrible ways. He promised if she told anyone, he could come back and kill her, and then kill the people of the house. So she didn't tell anyone. She tried to believe it was a dream, a very bad dream. But some nights she would wake up and shiver and cry and wonder where the boy was. And she would wonder, too, what hales were, and what they ate the hales in, and how it was that hales could make people so horrible. Chapter 1. Evil hunted her. It had driven her toward the beach, where, protected by the dark of night, Jaimie Piper crept toward the front window of a small bungalow a few blocks off the ocean in Santa Monica. She knew it was wrong, sneaking up on her schoolteacher like this, but she couldn't help herself. She was afraid, really afraid, and she wanted his help. First, she had to make sure he was alone. If he was with someone else, she wouldn't bother him. The sound of night bugs was louder than the traffic on the main boulevard that intersected this quiet street. It was June, and the air was warm and had the tangy smell of ocean. The grass was cool and wet. She felt the dew soaking through her canvas high-top Converse sneakers. Jaimie wasn't one to worry about fashion. She just liked the way the sneakers felt and looked. Okay, maybe she liked them too because none of the other kids her age wore them. Jaimie was 12. Slender and tall, she had long, fine hair that she tended to wear in a ponytail with a ball cap. If she let it hang loose, it softened her appearance to the point where others viewed her as girly, something she hated. The alternative was to cut it herself, because her foster parents didn't like wasting money by sending her to a beauty salon. But cutting it herself would just remind her that she was nothing but a foster kid. So she just let it grow, and wore Converse sneakers that looked anything but girly. Not only was it wrong to be sneaking up on her teacher's house, but it was wrong even to know where he lived. Jaimie knew that. But his wallet had been open on his desk once, with his driver's license showing behind a clear plastic window, and she'd read it upside down while she was talking to him and had memorized his address. Although this was the first time she'd stopped, she had ridden her bike past his house plenty of times, wondering what it would be like if she lived in the little house near the beach. It wasn't the house that drew her. It was dreaming about what it would be like to have a family, and it seemed the perfect house for a family with a mom and dad and a couple of girls. A real family. A house that they had lived in for years and years, with a yard and a couple of dogs. Beagles. She loved beagles. Her mom would be a little pudgy, but someone who laughed all the time. Jaimie didn't like the moms she saw who were cool and hip and trying to outdo their daughters in skinniness and tight-fitting jeans. Her dad would not have perfect hair and drive a BMW. Jaimie didn't have friends, because Jaimie wasn't a friend kind of person, but she knew girls at school with dads like that, and those girls didn't seem happy. If Jaimie had a dad, he'd be the kind of dad who went to barbers, not stylists, and had hair that was always a couple of weeks past needing a barber, who wore jeans and didn't tuck in his shirt, and always dropped everything to listen to whatever story his girl wanted to tell him. A dad like Mr. G, her teacher. He drove an old Jeep, the kind with canvas top and roll bars. Sometimes she'd see a surfboard strapped to the top of it, canvas top gone. Mr. G had that kind of surfer dude look, with the long hair and a long nose bent a little. Not perfect kind of handsome, but a face you still looked at twice. Some of the girls in her class had a crush on him. Not Jaimie. She just wished she could have a dad like him, and a house like the house he lived in. Sometimes, when she was really lonely, she would ride her bike in the neighborhood, pretending it was her home, and that when she got there, she'd be able to wheel up the sidewalk and drop her bike on the grass and leave it there. Because if it really was her family, no one would get upset about little things like that. It wasn't that she just had a good feeling about him. It was that Jaimie knew Mr. G could be trusted. Jaimie had a sense about people, a sense that sometimes haunted her. Like earlier tonight, when she'd met a guy who had come to her house to talk to her foster parents. She'd watched his eyes as he checked the layout of the house, standing in the kitchen, saying that he was from social services. She had taken her bracelet off to hand wash some dishes.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?